Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and some very interesting things to discuss regarding this Challengers Cup yesterday. West are the champions of the first 4 Challengers Cups in a row. They fall short of winning this one, but the Challengers Elite is just around the corner, which is probably a greater focus for them over these coming days. But also, Doug Censor Martin falling out top 64 in this one once again, and pretty much accusing the whoever team that beat him, we're going to look at that in just a second here, of cheating in their matchup. A few other people coming out and saying, okay, they were cheating, we definitely need anti-cheats in Call of Duty, but were they actually cheating? That is a big question mark, and pretty unfortunate to see that, well, up-and-coming amateur players, if they're not cheating, all of a sudden they get one good result, and now, well, their names may be in the blender. Intrigued to hear your perspective in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Let's hop into things then. So first of all, UIU announcing their return to Call of Duty. Charles, Pure, Sama, Tyler Riser, Yash Nightmare. We'll have to stay tuned for how these guys do going forwards. So, well, as Crone at CDL Intel says, Wester have been knocked out of Challengers Cup, finishing top 16, losing to Insight, Teskey, Onyx, and Scrappy in this one, the Toronto Ultra Academy, as it is right now. So, pretty remarkable, right, given that Wester looked very, very good. Earlier today, we looked at, okay, the scrims that OpTic Chicago played against Los Angeles Thieves. Just after those ones, they scrimmed up against Wester, and they weren't maybe taking the hardpoints too serious, because Wester were just kind of between matches in the Challengers Cup. But those 4 maps that they played were actually a very tight affair. I think it was 3-1 to Chicago, but all the maps were very, very close indeed, came down to the wire. So Wester looking very competitive in hardpoints with OpTic Chicago, but then they go back to their Challengers Cup match and actually lose here to, well, Toronto Ultra Academy. It's interesting to see how this happens, right, because you're expecting that at some point you're going to lose, right? You win 4 Challengers Cups in a row, eventually it's going to come crashing down, you're going to lose one. You can't necessarily win them all, but it's interesting to see what exactly did cause this, right? Maybe they can go back to the drawing board and ask themselves whether, okay, maybe they got slightly complacent, right, winning all those 4. Did they take practice as seriously these last couple of weeks as they had done a few weeks prior to that? It's of course difficult to maintain your motivation and such when you are the team absolutely dominating things, but oh well, at the end of the day, maybe it was just one of those things and it just happens. And well, we'll have to see what happens in Challengers Cup number 6, and of course the Challengers Elite also is just around the corner. But a player that doesn't seem like he might be in the Challengers Elite is going to be Douglas Censor Martin. A few question marks around his team. We'll look at that in just a second. If it's Paul X says, it is what it is. Cannot wait for the Elite. Can't always be perfect. GG's to everyone that we did play. So, well, earlier in the day, we get this that comes out from Christian right here. Like, please, man, these guys aren't even trying to hide it. So, some clips coming out regarding, okay, some potential cheating accusations. Parasite quote tweeted this. We'll look at it in a second here and then since deleted it. But yeah, this is an interesting clip because, well, this guy in Hill, you can see in theatre mode right here, looks up to Catwalk and is, well, as you can see, kind of pre-aiming through the wall and tracks him out through top map. I don't exactly know what people call this, but it does seem a little bit questionable to me, the fact that he's kind of tracking him out through the wall here onto top Catwalk. Then again, a lot of clips can be explained away, right? You look at this and say, okay, maybe nothing's going on here. Maybe he's just, you know, the aim tracking looks a little bit suspicious, but sometimes you go to pre-aim something, you don't exactly pre-aim it quite perfectly as you'd like to, then you have to adjust and just happen to get the perfect timing on the guy. So, you know, it's very easy to look at some clips and say, okay, it's dodgy with a certain eye, but then you can look at it through another perspective and say, okay, maybe there actually isn't anything particularly going on here. And the burden of proof is certainly on the accusers. It's very difficult to prove 100% that anyone's doing anything dodgy. We saw that in the Twitch Rivals Warzone tournament where Tommy was calling this guy out, but maybe actually something dodgy wasn't particularly going on there. So it's very tough to see. Parasite does quote tweet this and say more cheaters in challenges. Absolutely no surprise here. And Doug Censor Martin has a pretty similar opinion later on in the day. So this is Doug's recent result in the Challengers Cup so far in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Hasn't exactly been too pretty. The Challengers Cup, so top 32, top 64 in this first one. It is a difficult time, right? Because we talked early on the fact that he had this team with Goonjar, Censor, Dens, and Zed as it was. But I think it was Zed or Dens, they didn't give the pro points properly for, well, the MLG didn't give them the proper pro points, which meant they had a worse seeding than they should have done in those early Challenger Cups. And then, of course, that comes back to bite them, right? Once you don't have as much pro points as other teams, you now all of a sudden don't have the pro points that you need to get a good seeding in the tournaments. Then your seeding becomes worse and worse. You end up losing to better and better teams, and that's pretty unfortunate. And it's single elimination all the way until top 8. So if you lose one matchup, you are straight out of the tourney. So he's playing right now with Censor, Emery's, Brack, and Spoof, and it seems like once again that they came at top 64 in this tournament. So as Censor says, Call of Duty needs an anti-cheat. They lose in their top 64 match, and Doug's like, look, these guys probably something is dodgy is going on with the lads that we did lose to. So I found their match here on Game Battles. They lost to these guys, Fears, and well, Slaypex and the guys. We'll have a look at some clips from Fizz in just a second here, because there were certainly some questions. I believe Zoomer even was calling out this Fizz guy on stream, saying he was cheating, something dodgy was going on, looking at some of these clips. But as I say, it's very easy to look at some of these clips. If you look with the mind, if you look with like that confirmation confirmation bias mindset of, okay, like this guy is cheating, therefore let me find something that can prove he is cheating. And then you look at it with the other mindset, you can then look at the clips in a very different light. I think we'll see that here in just a couple of minutes. But yeah, so Slapex says, so because we didn't lose to someone cheating like this, we are cheating. Nice. So, well, a clip from Doug here showing that, okay, Doug's aim wasn't exactly the best in this clip, and because they ended up beating Doug's team, therefore, well, all of a sudden they get accused of cheating, even though what he's saying is basically Doug and co were just not good enough in this series and were not shooting straight enough to win this particular series as it figures out. But as Censor says, I had focusing aim assist on first map. Not really sure why he changes aim assist settings, but it is what it is. Clearly wasn't ideal for Censor in that one. And then he comes out and says, how can you explain this clip? So this clip came out from yesterday. Is he cheating? And well, we'll look at this on the full screen in a second, but this is FaZe, right? This is in one of their matchups, and well, the guy who's commentating this Taylor guy is saying, okay, look, he's looking over towards blue and he's tracking him as he's walking through blue right here. And okay, you look at it from this perspective and you say, oh my god, oh, you must be tracking him through the wall. But then you look at it from another angle as well, his teammate is going to explain here in just a second and say, look, he heard a call out that some guy was over by that lower tail area. He was looking to the right side of tail, then he was just looking to the left side of tail underneath it, and then it was just a coincidence that the guy happened to be running across there in the background. And it quite easily would have been, right? Like, there are some coincidences that happen from time to time, but well, Censor seems kind of convinced that, okay, how can you explain this clip? Something dodgy might be going on here. So then Slapex comes out with kind of an explanation as to look at this clip from FaZe's perspective and explains exactly what the callouts were at the time and why he was looking at where he was looking. And then, well, you look at this clip as I'll just share for you guys on screen here and say, look, it doesn't really seem like anything dodgy is going on with this clip. There were some other ones that came out for sure, and Zuma was looking through some ones, as I said, on stream and saying something looks a little bit dodgy. But at the end of the day, you have to be pretty damn sure that someone's cheating to accuse them of stuff like this, especially when there's no anti-cheat in the game. It's very difficult to tell exactly what's going on, whether someone is cheating, whether someone isn't cheating. And the burden of proof is, of course, on the accuser. And well, we don't really want a situation where players, as soon as they have a decent result and potentially are the next up-and-comers in the scene, all of a sudden they're getting accused of cheating by some big-name players and getting their reputations tarnished in that sense.
Watch this, okay? Gets in a tube, starts preeming this. Let's just fly over, okay? He's right here, all right? So right where he's aiming, that's fine, okay? Let's go slow-mo with this. Through it, follow him, follow him. Thank you so much for follow him. Gives it up. Where's this guy? Right where he was aiming. Right where he was aiming. Like, get him out of here, bro.
Goes to the tube, preems the front, sees the minimap, so he adjusts. And then this is also about the time where Buck's calling out that one's in blue in the back building. So right here, he's looking towards front American, then he switches to under American. It's not uncommon to hold under American, one, because we have one guy watching his back American, and then we have him watching under it. And then this is where he's on the minimap, so he aims out and looks towards his push. Here's one slide to his right. This guy is the guy that was on the minimap shooting at Dawson. Dawson shoots at him. They team shoot. He kills this guy, and that's the play. And he jumps out. Yeah, definitely hacking for jumping out of tube like that.
So Doug's opinion is as follows. Call of Duty Competitive has to go back to console immediately. Just like sack off all this PC stuff. It's not worth it. The anti-cheaters are, well, too difficult to deal with. Therefore, we have to go back to console. As Clay says, save no one ever. Competitive COD has to have an anti-cheat. And of course, agreed 100% with that one. But of course, until that happens, if it even does happen, what are we going to do about it, right? Do we have to be in a situation where we do go back to console next season, later this season? Who really knows? I think the PC environment for the pros is absolutely fine. The game looks wonderful on PC. It runs so much better. It's definitely better in terms of revenue sources for Activision, as we looked at a few weeks ago. The fact that any commissions that they have to pay to Sony and stuff for the PlayStation Store no longer has to be the case for the CDL stuff. So I definitely think for the pros, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. But for the amateurs, you definitely can make a reasonable case to say, look, we should go back to console at some point or another. But I definitely think for the amateurs, you can make a reasonable case that we should go back to console. As Censor certainly is, because the cheating situation is just rampant. Every time there's a Challengers Cup, the accusations do not end about people doing dodgy things, and I'm sure there are some people doing dodgy things, but I'm sure there are also some people that are getting accused of dodgy things that are actually just good and have been grinding the game for a long time. Very tough to say either way. Very frustrating, I'm sure, if you're a player, not even knowing, right? You see this guy, he has a couple of dodgy clips. Maybe he is cheating, maybe he isn't. How can you really tell? It's almost impossible to say, and I'm not really sure what the future holds right now, but the Challenger scene is a very difficult one to make your way through, especially if you're a guy like Censor who's done it all before at the highest level and is now having having a difficult time in these cups. As a Trey says as well, I mean, anti-cheat needs to be a thing. COD on console compared to PC is absolutely awful. But as Doug says, look, I cannot believe what my eyes are seeing in these Challenger Cups, Trey. So intrigued to hear your perspective in the comment section below. What should we do here? I mean, PC and, well, obviously we want to keep the challengers from the pro scene kind of combined in that sense. And, well, at least playing on the same platform. But is that really possible with no anti-cheat? When is it going to arrive? Activision haven't even acknowledged it's an issue. So I don't imagine it's coming anytime soon. But of course, there's Activision and the CDL that call the shots on what platform we play on, which probably also means nothing is going to change in the near future, which is going to be a frustrating thing to continue to cover throughout the season. Just to finish off with this clip here from Money Cheen, the GG Breaker Boy tweeted out Zuma was, well, kind of casting this one over him at the time. Well, Chino has a nice little clip to finish off this round of control and clutch up when it matters. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
Oh, Tino with a Kobe. Oh. Chin, cut off the others. Cut off the others.
Only one right now. The other two are like.
Cut off the others, Chin.
I need a close triple. Nothing. Top green. Got her dead.
Nice, Chin.
Pender. Top. Top dead. Let's
Nice, Chin.
Top hurt.
Let's go, Chin.